Hello guys, once again it's Matt and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons, make sure to subscribe and let's get into it. So today we are going to talk a little bit about the Gripen. So yeah, let's hop in. We are trying to hit 50k subscribers, so make sure to sub. And yeah, let's talk about the Gripen. So technically, the Gripen, if you haven't heard, it was kind of confirmed to come around this year. By the Russian community managers or devs. I don't know exactly what they do there, but basically on the Russian part of the War Thunder's forum, right? And with that addition, with this confirmation that an aircraft such as the Gripen is coming fairly soon, if you ask me. I think it's kind of fairly soon. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Gripen itself, how it would be implemented, and what we can expect from it. A lot of people have a very weird kind of misinterpretation about the Gripen, so I wanted to clear that out a little bit. So first of all, this is not a diving down video, okay? So I won't go to the history of the aircraft and everything like that. The objective is to talk about the Gripen itself in the game, how it would be in the game, what we can expect from the versions, the performance, the missiles, everything, right? So yeah, what is the Gripen itself? You know, what is that aircraft? So it is an aircraft that was made by the Swedish, by Saab, and it is a 90s aircraft, okay? It is an aircraft that it's not, we're not quite there yet, to be honest, which I'm going to get more into it later in the video, but the idea of this aircraft was to actually substitute the Viggen. Obviously, the Viggen was getting a little bit old, and the objective was to have kind of a 4+ generation aircraft that would be very good at interceptions, because the Swedish always do this aircraft to not only do the normal stuff, but mainly interceptions, but also be a fighter, so be maneuverable, be fast accelerating, also have a very good air-to-air radar, you know, with a very good range, and also be able to do some multi-role kind of stuff, so anti-ship and basically ground missions, anything that it needs. Reconnaissance, it is even able to land on short runways to be able to do, you know, the same type of landings that the Viggen does with the runways and stuff, not runways, like highways and stuff. So yeah, it's an aircraft that it's very common for a nation the size of Sweden, all of these European nations and even other nations from other places, where they don't have, basically they don't have the companies, they don't have the money to actually make 5 different aircraft for each type of mission that an aircraft needs to do. So they normally do a very, very multi-role mission, right? An aircraft that can do basically anything. It won't be amazing at a particular thing, but it will be great at multiple things, or at least good in some and great in others, right? And this is the Gripen. The Gripen is a 90s, remember this, it's a 90s aircraft that can do it all. It's supposed to be a light fighter, so the objective was to be kind of the same type of point interceptor, or if you will, kind of light fighter on the side, on the same page and the objective as a MiG-29, as a Mirage, later the Eurofighter, the F-16, even the Rafale can be compared to that. So it's an aircraft that it's meant to be light and even cheaper to actually build and maintain, right? So it has only one engine, for example, and it is an aircraft that it has a very small size, so you have to consider that. It uses delta wings, so it can turn a lot. The engines are the Volvo engines. They are based off of an engine, I think it's the same, I don't know if the E or the A, I have to check it out, but normally they use the RM12, which is basically an engine based on the F404 engine, which is the engine on the F-18. So yeah, pretty interesting, right? So it's an engine that it's well proof. It's just a very good aircraft, right? And yeah, it can do basically a lot of things. It can carry air-to-air missiles for BVR. The normal variants that I'm going to talk about later, they have 8 pylons, so 4 IR missiles, normally 4 radar-guided missiles, so pretty good. Also, it can do some air-to-ground with anti-ship, with some bombs. Later versions can carry even the MatAWG. So it can do basically all, you know. But the thing is, what does it compare to? It's a thing that not a lot of people actually consider, because these aircraft were actually heavily upgraded with the E and F upgrades, but at first they were kind of a little bit limited, you know, in the sense of they weren't like an F-15, you know, an Su-27. But the thing is, they were these type of new generation light fighters. So, for example, the Raider should have around 120, 130 kilometers of range. For such a small aircraft, which is the Gripen, this sees levels of Su-27s and F-15s levels, you know, of detection. Of course, I'm talking about the 80s variants of these aircraft, but still, so it is indeed a 4+ generation aircraft. It's an aircraft that, even though, yes, it is a light fighter, it has the same kind of capabilities as the larger, more well-equipped aircraft in the 80s had. So that's the main thing. So what does that mean? It means that we are not quite ready yet. Only if it's added with more stuff together in the same patch, it would be like not OP. Because if not, it would be quite OP. Depending on the missile that it gets, that we are going to talk about on the variants part of the video, but that's the main thing. It is supposed to be comparable to something like a modernized version of the MiG-29S, or even the MiG-29S itself, but something like that, right? Or a MiG-29M, F-15, F-16s, I would compare it to at least a Block 40, maybe a Block 50. Yeah, probably a Block 50, right? B-52. Against the Eurofighter, against these aircraft. So it is a more modern aircraft than what we have in game. So if it's added right now, I think it would be pretty OP. It needs to be added with other stuff to actually be alright. But there is a catch on that. And there is the variants that I'm going to talk about. There is 2 variants. They kind of confirmed the C, but I doubt that they are specifically confirming the C variant. I think they are just meaning on that forum post, they are meaning that the Gripen is coming, not specifically the C variant, but indeed they talk about the C. But even if it is the C variant, from the C, from the A, they're not that different. The A is the main variant from 1996. It is the original Gripen, you know, so it has all the things that I told you guys. But the main thing is that somebody actually on the forums found a manual on the Gripen saying that the Gripen actually could, in theory, at least from the top prototype phases, carry the Skyflash missile. What does that mean? It means that if it gets to get added, if basically it's added with the Skyflash, it could be even brought right now, I think, even though the performance would be amazing. I mean, it has a 0.97 thrust rate, so it's not that amazing, but it is pretty good. On the E, it becomes a little bit better, more close to something like the Su-27, like 1.04, but still, it's not like bad, right? The Mirage, for example, it's 0.7, so yeah, it's way better than that. Has around 300 meters per second of climb, so it is a pretty good aircraft, but it is comparable to the other ones that we have. It probably will turn better, but it will lose a lot of energy turning because it's a delta wing, and I think the fly-by-wire will limit a little bit of it. Same goes for the F-16, right? So in a general sense, it would not be that OP in that sense. So if the 9Ls could be added for it, so the RB-74, and if the RB-71 or the Skyflash is added, having 120 kilometers of range on the radar will be less effective, right? It's going to be limited on that because the Skyflash is a very limited missile, especially for BVR. So it would be just alright. So there is this option. If they actually add the Gripen, being the A variant or a prototype or something that can carry the Skyflash, it would mean that it can be coming like soon, like in the next patch even. But this is where I kind of have my opinion on it. I prefer it to actually be coming with the RB99, which is the M120B, and actually come with other stuff together in the same patch. So in the next couple of patches, they could add, for example, the Su-27, the F-15s, and just use them with the R-27s and the M7s that we already have. And by the end of the year, we should have start to get the Fox 3 missiles from the 90s. And there is where I think we should get the Gripen, together with more advanced variants of these aircraft that we already have in game, together with other aircraft like the Eurofighter, to actually have kind of a similar line of thinking on the patch as the same that we had in December, with everybody receiving something, right? So the Europeans, they can get the Eurofighters, Germany, the Eurofighter, the UK with the Eurofighter, the Italians with the Eurofighter. We had Japan, it could carry the F2, you know, the F2A, or a better version of the F-15. The Russians, of course, Su-27s or MiG-29s, more variants of that. Of course, the Americans, F-16s, Block 50s or something. Better F-15s, F-18s, many options, of course. You know, Israelis with the F-15s, whatever, you know. At the end of the day, of course, the French with the Mirage 2005 or even the Rafale. And, of course, the Swedish with the Gripen. I think it would be a fitting role there. But I really doubt that we will see before that. And I really doubt that we will see with it the Skyflash. It is a possibility, but I kinda don't think they will do that, because he just added the vegan with the Skyflash, and it is just very limited, right? Having 4 Skyflashes or whatever, it won't change a thing. Even though it has more performance, it is going to be limited. And I don't think any Swedish main will actually enjoy having a Gripen without the RB99. It was kind of made to use that missile at first. So yeah, it would be kind of boring, right? We need the Fox 3 missiles, in my opinion, to actually have that. So I don't know. Let me know what you think about it. Do you think the Gripen, I mean, it's kind of confirmed already, so it will come? Do you think it's coming sooner than later with the Skyflash, or later with addition of the Fox 3 missiles and with those other options? If it's added with those other options, I think it's going to be okay with those aircraft, you know, Eurofighters and more modern aircraft. If it's added right now with the Skyflash, I think it will be alright, but it would be just kind of weird, and using the Skyflash on a Gripen, it's weird. And it's just a rumor that the Skyflash can be used in the Gripen after all, right? So we need to even confirm that first to actually have that possibility on the table, right? So yeah, but it is a very modern aircraft. I cannot wait to see it in the game, especially because my country uses it, Brazil. So yeah, very, very cool. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments, as I said, what do you think about it. And I see you guys on the next one. So bye guys, see you.